Hello and welcome to Under the Silence. My name is Bianca Mershinger, therapist, teacher and co-founder of Psychosomatics and Emotional Anatomy Training. In this episode, I'm reflecting on a question that struck a deep chord within me. A question posed by a YouTube subscriber who also quite beautifully gifted me an original jingle I'll be introducing to the podcast soon. His offering brought me more than just sound. It offered a pause, a question, and a moment of deep inner inquiry. This episode is an exploration of that question, a journey through the pursuit of truth, the inheritance of form, and the soul's longing to fully inhabit the human experience. It's an invitation for anyone who's ever yearned to understand and embody themselves, fully, fiercely, and without apology. There are moments in life when a single question rearranges everything, not because it gives us an answer, but because it reminds us that the answer must be lived. This is a reflection born from one of those questions. There's a deep desire that has lived inside me for as long as I can remember. The desire to understand myself completely, to feel myself, to inhabit myself, to live inside the totality of this human experience with eyes wide open and soul fully present. It's not just a curiosity, it's the very thing that keeps me going. Recently, someone said to me, I can't live without knowing, feeling, and inhabiting myself. Would you know what I mean by a self-authentic beyond reason? I paused. Their words touched something so familiar and yet difficult to define. I had to sit with it, not just with the question, but with the feeling beneath it. Because words like these, while seemingly simple, carry layers that often get lost in our interpretations. They ask us to listen deeper. And when I did, I found my own echo there, the same need to understand my purest nature, the soul's interpretation of what it means to be human inside this body, this identity, and this history. To truly understand the self, I had to trace where that self comes from. Let's begin with what we carry, not just in mind or memory, but in the body itself. This is what I think of as the human inheritance. The body is not just a vessel for experience, but a map of it, shaped over time by both conscious choice and unconscious inheritance. This body I live in, it carries stories, not just mine, but those of my parents and theirs and beyond. My psyche, my reflexes, even my pain, all shaped by a lineage of choices, traumas, hopes, and survival. I identify with all of it, and I also choose from it. Consciously and unconsciously, I select which parts of that inheritance I want to embrace and which I long to release. Some I love, some I resist, some I don't even yet understand. But from that dance of choosing and rejecting, I've formed this current version of me, the self that lives, works, speaks, serves, and sometimes hides. Sometimes I want to be seen and known, other times I want to disappear, quietly unraveling in the corners of my own existence. And now, with time and tenderness, I've arrived at a place I can only describe as actualization, or somewhat actualization. And as I moved deeper into this inquiry, something started to shift. What unfolded next was what I now recognize as a kind of dance, the dance of actualization. Here I look at my stories, my emotions, and my behavioral patterns not with judgment but with curiosity. I notice my triggers. I allow their loops to run their course, and when I land there, I am again deeper, clearer, and more available to life. Do I still get stuck? Of course, but not for long, and not without awareness. So when he said, I can't live without knowing, feeling, and inhabiting myself, I understood. I realized the closest relationship I will ever have is with myself. I am my own soulmate. I am the one I must answer to, the one who lives with my guilt, shame, longing, joy, rage, and return. Everyone else is simply a mirror, a fellow traveller, a witness, sometimes a guide, sometimes a trigger, but always a reflection. Still, his words stayed with me, especially that final phrase. It lingered like a cone. And I've recently found out that a cone in Zen Buddhist practice is a paradoxical question or statement, one that cannot be answered by logic or intellect alone. Its purpose is to disrupt ordinary thinking and invite a deeper, more intuitive knowing. That phrase, a self-authentic beyond reason, stayed with me in just this way, asking to be felt, not solved. This brought me to an insight about form and how we're constantly being shaped, whether by will, need, or unconscious pull. Let's talk about the shaping of self. A form is always being created. Even in the absence of conscious intention, the body shapes itself around feeling, experience, and energy. But when form is paired with focus, with a reason, a direction, a deeper will, that's when true power enters. The body, the face, the hands and feet, they all begin to reflect this inner direction. The shape we take becomes the expression of what we have chosen, consciously or not, to become. This shaping can emerge from desire, from purpose, from need, from survival, or even from the unconscious pull of our lineage and conditioning. Much of it happens before we are aware. In fact, the way we are shaped and the way we respond to life is, at first, almost entirely unconscious, until it's not. And in that moment of awareness, we may look at what we've created, our posture, our habits, our choices, and feel the shock of realization. This is me, but it wasn't chosen, not fully. That's the nature of early life, innocent, unguarded, exploratory. With few boundaries, we play, we imitate, we become. Then we feel pain, loss, rejection. The body adapts. The nervous system tightens. Autonomic responses like fear, flight, or fight become etched into our form, and over time that becomes our reason, the justification for why we are the way we are. But reason doesn't have to be reactive. It can be reclaimed. When we meet our form with awareness, we begin the alchemical process of reshaping not just how we move, but who we are. Still, the question remained, what is reason really, and how does it shape who we become? And that question, would you know what I mean by self-authentic beyond measure? Yes, I think I do. To be authentic beyond reason is to be whole beyond explanation. It is to know and feel yourself at a level that transcends analysis, justification, or performance. It's not about being rational or relatable or polished. It's about being true. True even when no one understands. True even when it doesn't make sense. And true even when it's messy, illogical, uncomfortable, or unexplainable. It's a frequency, not a thought. A being, not a brand. Or perhaps it is this kind of authenticity that the soul is really here for. So yes, I believe I know what it means to be a self-authentic beyond reason, and yet I also know I am still discovering her. Each day, each moment of honesty, each unraveling breath brings me closer. And if your current form, physical, emotional, or behavioral, doesn't yet reflect the self you long to inhabit, know that the moment you become aware is the moment you begin again. Before we close, here are a few questions to sit with, a reflective prompt if you're drawn to explore further. What parts of yourself feel inherited? Which parts feel chosen? And what might it mean for you to live a life that is authentic beyond reason? If this reflection stirred something in you, take it into your day gently. Let it breathe, let it move through your body. To explore emotional release, psychosomatic therapy, or simply deepen your journey of self-inquiry, I invite you to visit psychosomaticsанdemotionalanatomy.com or biancamershinger.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can now do so by visiting buymeacoffee.com, Bianca_Mershinger. Thank you for listening, and may we all remember the body knows the way home. And I just want to thank the listener for the jingle and also for the question. It did take me a while to really ponder on it and to think about it, but I did plant the seed, and there's the result. And I will ponder on it some more, but thank you for asking me the question. Be well, and bye for now.